Welcome back. Here we are on this Thursday morning, getting ready to read chapter 9. Okay, the miraculous journey of Edward Tulane. Again, the miraculous journey of Edward Tulane. Scholastic is allowing me to do this because I have to say this every time, and I'm going insane. This is kind of like Stitch being Godzilla. Wow. Okay, but you guys all have cats at home, I'm sure. Okay, at the end of the last chapter, the farmer brought Edward back home. So I want you guys to make a quick prediction of what you think this chapter is going to hold now. Okay, again, make a quick prediction about what this chapter is going to hold. Tell your brother or sister, tell your parents, tell yourself. Go and pause the video now. But we're back. So here we are in chapter 9, Edward Tulane. And so Edward Tulane became Susanna. Nellie sewed several outfits for him, a pink dress with ruffles for special occasions, a simple shift fashioned out of flower-covered cloth for the everyday youth, and a long white gown made of cotton for Edward to sleep in. In addition, she remade his ears, stripping them off of the few pieces of fur that remained, and designed him a new pair. "Oh," she told him when she was done, "you look lovely." He was horrified at first. He was, after all, a boy rabbit. He didn't want to be dressed as a girl. And the outfits, even the special occasion dress, were so simple and so plain. They lacked the elegance and the artistry of real clothes. But then Edward remembered lying on the ocean floor, the muck in his face, the stars so far away, and he said to himself, what difference does it really make? Wearing a dress? It's not going to hurt me. Besides, life in the little house with the fisherman and his wife was sweet. Nellie loved to bake, and she spent her day in the kitchen. She put Edward on the counter, leaned him up against the flour canister, and arranged his dress around his knees. She bent his ears so he could hear very well. And then she set to work, kneading dough for bread and rolling out dough for cookies and pie. The kitchen soon filled with the smell of baking bread and with the smells of cinnamon. The windows steamed up, and while Nellie worked, she talked. She told Edward about her children, her daughter Lolly, who was a secretary, and her boys, Ralph, who was in the army, and Raymond, who had died of pneumonia, and who was only 5 years old. He drowned inside of himself, said Nellie. It is horrible, terrible thing. The worst thing to watch somebody you love die right in front of you and not able to do anything about it. I dream of him most nights. Nellie wiped her tears with the back of her hands, and she smiled at Edward. I suppose you think I'm daft, talking to a toy, but it seems to me that you're listening, Susanna. And Edward was surprised to discover that he was listening. Before, when Aveline talked to him, everything seemed so boring, so pointless. But now the stories told struck him as the most important thing in the world. It made him wonder if some of the muck from the ocean floor had gotten inside his china head and damaged him somehow. In the evening, Lawrence came home from the sea, and there was dinner, and Edward sat at the table with the fisherman and his wife. He sat in an old wooden high chair, and while at first he was mortified, a high chair, after all, was a chair designed for babies. He liked being up high, looking out over the table, instead of staring at the tablecloth that he and the Tulane household. He liked feeling like part of these things. Even after dinner, Lawrence said that he would go out for some fresh air, and maybe Susanna would like to come with him. He placed Edward on his shoulder as he had the first night. They went outside, and Lawrence lifted his pipe and held Edward there on his shoulder, and the night was clear. Lawrence said the names of the constellations one at a time. Andromeda, Pegasus, pointing at them with one stem of his pipe. Edward loved looking at the stars, and he loved the sound of the constellation names. They were sweet in his ears. Sometimes, though staring at the night sky, Edward remembered of Pellegrina. Saw again in her dark glowy eyes would chill through him. Warthogs, he would think, witches. Ugh. But Nellie, before she put him to bed each night, sang Edward a lullaby. A song about a mockingbird that did not sing, and a diamond ring that would not shine. And the sound of Nellie's voice soothed the rabbit, and he forgot about Pellegrina. Life for a long time was sweet. And then Lawrence and Nellie's daughter came for a visit. That is chapter 8. All right. Questions I want you guys to think about and write down. Not a lot of guys are sending me your posts in Seesaw. So please send some posts about the questions, okay, and how you would answer. Don't forget your complete sentences. First thing I want to know is, how did Edward feel about being dressed up? Again, how did Edward feel about being dressed up in a dress? Okay, because he's no longer Edward now, is he? So again, tell me how he feels. Edward feels, okay? And the second one is, what does Edward love more than anything in the world? Again, what does Edward love more than anything in the world? All right? 2 questions for you guys to answer. See you guys next time for the next chapter.